Well, this didn't start today, but continues 3 weeks later. Sitting in the hospital bed here, I figured I would write about it. 3 weeks ago, my wife was leaving for a weekend girls trip, so I had the house to myself. Sometimes it's kinda nice. I get to chill, eat pizza, play video games, and wank a bit. That weekend I had been drinking, feeling awfully fresh, and then busting down for a good fashioned wank. But in my thinking, this one's not a typical wank. I would let this one run out of bed and see how long I could keep edging myself so I had the time alone. Anyway, I get towards finishing about an hour later, and then the bride gets a bear down internally and clench to see if I can get a better orgasm. Well, this is where I'm assuming my downfall came from. Finished, all was well, and I went to bed. Woke up the following day to this massive pain in the lower shaft of the penis. Didn't think much of it and hoped it would go away, and I figured I just overdid it. As the days went by, the pain kept increasing, returning to my butthole and entire perineum. At this point, it hurt to get erect, and this was when I started dawning what might have happened. Finally, the pain outweighed the shame, and I figured I better do something because it was not getting better. I went to urgent care, where they took one look at me and told me I had to go to the ER. I got to the ER, where they told me it's probably just lousy hemorrhoid, which is even more embarrassing now. They sent me home and told me to follow up with a specialist come Tuesday, as Monday was booked. Throughout the weekend, I ended up in the ER 2 more times, being in so much pain, and I'm able to manage the Novicotin I was given. Underwent multiple CTs on each trip to the ER that weekend. On my last CT, it was noticed that I would start to come back as abnormal. I had an odd inflamed colon. Come Tuesday is the virtual specialist appointment with the gastroenterologist. That call was reasonably quick as she told me to come to ER right now and be admitted. Great. I finally got admitted and had to undergo one last CT scan where they pushed contrast to an IV. This time, however, felt different and painful. I asked while doing this, they missed the vein and flooded my arm with CT contrast, which hurt immensely. I complained and was shrugged off until the following day when my arm was completely swollen and could not be moved. At this point, I had switched arms with the IV, and for whatever reason, each time they injected a new med, you could see my skin get more and more red, outward from where the IV was placed. This happened several more times. 9 IV replacements in total and about 20 pokes, as they never find a vein. Each of these IVs had the same effect on my arm. Each kept making the area red and swollen until they finally thought they should run some ultrasound tests. Come to find out, I now have significant blood clots up and down both arms, and it's becoming a bit of an emergency. Today, I still sit in the hospital bed, admitted a week later with no chance of coming home anytime soon. Now with an IV sticking out of my neck into the main artery, pumping me full with blood thinners and things to hopefully dissolve the blood clots. They determined that I also have an ischemic colon, which cuts the blood flow to 30 centimeters of my intestinal tract. This seems to improve slowly while the medical staff is increasingly concerned about my blood clot situation. I don't know where this goes from here, but damn, I guess I effed up. This shit is scary. Vigorous orgasm turned into a 3 week painful ordeal, and I was admitted to the hospital where I still sit. I wish no one this fate.